All right, go ahead.
All right, cool. Remember, the 5th of November, the gunpowder treason and plot. This is Movie Noobs. I'm your host, Caleb Hansen, and with me today I've got Hunter, the boss Chambliss. How you doing, Hunter?
I'm pretty good, man. I watched this movie two nights ago for the very first time. I'm so excited to talk about it.
All right. And also joining us, we have my good friend and co-host, Haven, the villain Pendergast, or is it Natalie Portman?
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Yes.
I guess as you can see from the title that I was holding up, you know what we're going to talk about this evening. Glad to be here with these fine gentlemen.
Yes, indeed. All right. Today, you guys, we're going to talk about V for Vendetta, a movie that's very close to my heart. And before we get started, I guess I should say what this show is. This is a show where we're compiling a list of movies that we think that people need to see, that they're important movies for people's film watching education. And we're starting with this one because Hunter has never seen it.
That's true. That's true. Found it on Netflix thanks to you guys. Watched it late last night. Ended at like 2 a.m. I was locked into this movie throughout it, though.
Yeah, it's a really good one, and I'm glad you liked it because that's like literally the whole point of the show. All right, so the movie we're doing, if you didn't guess it from my intro and Haven holding it up, we are watching V for Vendetta, and shit, got to get back to that on my IMDb. Yeah, all right. So the 2005. Holy crap, I feel old. 2005's V for Vendetta, starring Natalie Portman and Hugo Weaving, and pretty much everybody else in every British actor ever is in this fucking movie. It's great. We got Stephen Fry, you got John Hurt, you got Rupert Graves for all you Sherlock fans out there. Just everybody. If you've heard of them, they're in this movie. Let's get your general thoughts of the movie first. We'll go to Haven.
This is obviously, as you can see, it's still in my personal library, in my treasure chest of great movies of all times. I love this movie with a passion. The first time I seen it in the theaters in 2005, I was blown away. I don't want to spoil everything yet, and so I know we're going to talk about scenes and colors and all that stuff. But man, this movie just touched me so deeply in 2005 because the world was in a we were in a war, against really dastardly people, and a lot of people just didn't know what to believe. And this movie just hit on all these points, and it's made based on a comic book, so that was pretty cool to find out.
Yes, indeed. All right, and then we're gonna go to our in-house noob here, Hunter. What are your general thoughts? What do you got? What do you think of the movie?
General thoughts. I love this movie. I was telling Caleb, I was like, it kind of sucks that we did our top 10 comic movies of all time with, before me watching this movie, because that would have definitely made my list. Just the different messages that I got from this movie were so powerful. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. The action was great. The acting was top notch with Oscar level performances and just overall a story that is still relevant today.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the movie. That's why I suggested it. Um, yeah, dude, it's a great movie. It's crazy to me. Like it's got an audience score on Rotten Tomatoes of 90%. It's an awesome movie.
Should be higher.
I kind of agree. the tomato meter has it at 73, and I think whoever rated those that low are idiots. The crazy thing is, if you look at so I'm going to get into specifics now. It's like the one good movie that this director has made too. It's James McTeague, and he made some episodes of Marco Polo and Sense8. But like the biggest ones that stood out to me were the Invasion, the Nicole Kidman remake of the Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and that Ninja Assassin movie.
Hey, that was a really good movie.
I liked Ninja Assassin, but I wouldn't call it a good movie.
Hey, it was action packed. That movie was badass. When that came out, it made okay money in the theaters, for being a ninja movie. You don't see that anymore. They were trying to push it. Warner Brothers put that movie out also, but it just, it was good, but they never capitalized, on that.
Yeah, I mean, it was okay. It was just, I feel like it was poorly written. Like, it didn't have a great story. It had some cool ass action, but it in terms of story, it fell short. But yeah, so that's that's the guy who made V for Vendetta. He worked with the Wachowskis quite a bit. It's also written by the Wachowski sisters. Now, they were brothers at the time.
Yep.
And which is like way to come out of the gate. People kind of forget, to me, or I do, I guess, that the Wachowskis were so great. They came off of The Matrix and did V for Vendetta, which was incredible. And like, they were hands-on in the making of the movie. Like, everything was so deliberate and done so perfectly that it was pretty awesome. Any thoughts on the director, the Wachowskis, coming up? Until we move on.
For me, you can tell that the Wachowskis had probably more input than just writing it. Going down to the action scenes, which, if you watch that end scene, are we doing spoilers for this as well?
Oh yeah, absolutely, full spoilers. Okay. Let's do it.
When he takes on,
if you haven't seen it by now, maybe this will help you.
The final battle, that was, the way it was. What am I trying to say? The way it was shot was almost like the Matrix style, the slow-mo into the fast, like the 300 Matrix style of fight scene.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can tell
and again, still, like, before that was overused, still, it was still a very specific Wachowski look that was being done.
And like the writing, again, you could tell that they wrote that because they always have a good view on just the world in general, especially with The Matrix, V for Vendetta, and just incorporating real-world issues into more of a fanatical sci-fi type movie.
Yeah, I agree. That was pretty dope scene. I mean, like, just the whole, like, oh yeah, you'll be dead before you can reload, and then just seeing it happen in slow motion, just like the freaking CGI blood, but it didn't look terrible like most CGI blood does nowadays. Like, it looked pretty legit, and then like the tracers of the knife as it's like throwing in slow motion and stuff. It's iconic, dude. And that's the thing I love about it too, is it feels like the comic book too. It feels like you're watching a motion comic when that kind of thing is happening. Haven, you got any thoughts on that? Directors or that last scene?
Yeah, I'm directors. Yeah, like you said, they came out The Matrix, which was a visionary movie. All the movies after The Matrix have been using, the effects and the studios have been hiring, bringing in equipment to do all that special flashy stuff and all that stuff because of The Matrix. This movie doesn't get enough credit. I don't know why. I think it just came out, but craze was really big. You know, people don't remember this is a comic book movie. They had some misses, but I do love Sense8. I'm one of the few that think that's one of the top 5 television shows I've ever seen in my life.
Wow.
It's on Netflix. Yeah, I love that show. Like I'm one of those that like signing petitions trying to get it back, but they're actually gonna like do a 2-hour episode to wrap it up, you know.
Oh, that's good.
But I would watch
because I just heard it was canceled and was like, oh well,
yeah,
that sucks.
Oh yeah, it was canceled, but now they're gonna do a 2-hour movie to wrap it up.
Nice.
Firefly
Kind of like that. Yeah. I was gonna say kind of like the Christmas special that they did, but that was a really weird episode.
Yeah, they did that one to show the fans like, look, you know, we are coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I encourage a lot of people to go watch that show. It's on Netflix, and I don't understand why everybody that doesn't own Netflix watch it already. It's an original show, and I just, man, it blew me away. Like, I love the premise. I like sci-fi.
I will
fit me to a T.
Yeah, I will say, hold on through those first couple episodes because it's weird and confusing, but if you get through them, it's worth it because that first season is killer. All right. So then let's get into like some more specifics. One thing I wrote down here is the opening news thing after the story of Guy Fawkes, which totally opened up America to knowing about Guy Fawkes because I had no idea who the hell he was before reading the book, but then also before seeing the movie. Like that's when it really like blew off that like everybody knew it. Like after seeing that movie, everybody was saying the goddamn remember the 5th of November.
Oh yeah.
So after that, there's the opening news thing where the voice of Britain is yelling, and I wrote down the judgment of Ass Erica. And I think like that was so fucking like wonderful because at the time, like just thinking about it, and then even now, that's totally what the world thinks about us. It's just like, oh yeah, this hotbed of sin and like horribleness, but also seeing like the comparisons of like Fox News or like Bill O'Reilly, and then this guy who it's like the exact same thing. So I love that, and like it just came right out of the way, like punching with the political commentary. Anything about those like first couple of scenes that stood out? Like, I mean, obviously, I'm gonna get into when we meet V, but like just the way they shot that scene too, of like both of them getting ready in front of the mirror, putting on the like him putting on the mask and getting ready, and her putting on the makeup while she's watching the news. Like everything about it was so well done and so cool. I loved all of that. So anything you guys got on that?
Again, a point that you brought up was it started off right off the bat with the political commentary. And it's weird because back in 2005, you know, if you watch it back in 2005 and you watch it today, nothing's changed in terms of politics. So this movie is continuously going to be relevant and, you know, up to date with the social commentary because we're still dealing with that today. I do like that side-by-side comparison of me getting ready for battle or to go out and, you know, is it Evie? Her name is? Yeah.
Yep.
Evie's getting ready as well. And just that whole street scene with the 3 cops or political figures trying to rape her and then V coming in to save her. I like that dynamic of like the criminals have now taken over power and they use that power in evil ways.
Yeah, yep.
All right. Oh, that's an excellent point. I like the intro of the movie really well. You know, it just right from the beginning, you're like, oh, you know, it catches your attention. As soon as the movie starts, you turn to the screen. All right, what's this? I gotta pay attention. And then like just the beginning of them both getting dressed. I like that. I love that side by side, just showing them both getting ready for their day, not even knowing how they're gonna change each other's lives forever. You know, it was really cool. You know, and like Hunter was saying, with the you know, you watch it right now, it seems like the movie could have came out today. You know, it's not outdated at all. That movie, I think, will still stand the test of time, even 10 years from now, because the movie was simplistic, real world feel to it. What Hunter was saying, I think he jumped the gun a little bit, but what Hunter was saying about the policemen or the military guys, you know, bullying.
Yeah, the fingermen, yeah.
Today. You know, we see that today in our society, even though this takes place in another country. It hit a lot of points that even if you live in a different country, it almost feels like that's where you're living at, where that movie's happening, you know, so it really, you know, tugs you right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Like I was saying, all of, like, so much of that first, like, 15 minutes is just, like, it feels like at home right now. It doesn't feel like it's some foreign country in a dystopian future. It feels like right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now that I brought the mood down, let's talk about V being awesome. So then we have the scene where V is going to visit Stephen Fry, who we'll get into later.
Dimitri?
What's that?
I believe his character name was Dimitri.
Dietrich, yep. Big Daddy Dietrich.
Dietrich.
Yeah, going to have a dinner party with Dietrich, and she's stopped by the two fingermen, which is their equivalent of police or the whatever government agency, for being outside on curfew, and she's saved by the terrorist V, who we see for the first time. And what do you guys think of it first? I'm gonna jump to you guys first. Let's go Haven first.
Oh man, when I was in the theaters watching it for the first time, and you know, you see the alley, you know, it's dark. You got these three men. They come out. You think, oh man, it's gonna get really nasty for Eva, you know. And then out of nowhere, you know, it's got the fog from that country, and then you just see him come out, and his look, like I said, was so simplistic. Ooh, you know, it wasn't like a Spider-Man outfit or nothing like too big. But man, when you see that guy, you're like, holy shit, you know, something's about to go down. And man,
yeah, just the black suit with the cloak and then the black hat, but then just the white Guy Fawkes mask.
Yep, and the gloves.
It's like I still get chills from that when he comes up and he's just like out talking him too. Like he's smarter than everybody in the whole country at this point. Like, yeah, it's awesome. Hunter, what are your first impressions of V?
My first impressions of V is what you just brought up, Caleb. He can fight, like he's a master swordsman, but he can also outsmart and outtalk anybody he comes across. And that's what makes him cool to me is, yeah, you know, anyone can swing a sword, anyone can fight, but can anyone outsmart and outtalk anybody as well as kick their ass?
Yeah. Like this is like you know, it's like Batman meets I don't know who's the smartest guy alive. Like I don't even know what to say who it is. It's like the Phantom of the Opera with Batman with like the Brainiac. It's awesome. I love V. And then the action of him just like, you know, he doesn't have to kill these guys, so he doesn't. He just beats the crap out of them, and then he uses their own words against them when they're asking for mercy, where he's like, spare the rod, and just beats the crap out of the one guy who's going to rape her. And then goes on his whole diatribe of V's. I don't know what to call it. It's great. His intro, when he
And
uses
then,
like every V word in the dictionary.
and then of course the V on the sign.
Yeah, slicing up the unity through faith
Yeah.
sign.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
their political agenda sign
or
slogan that they
that
put
was it.
up. You know, the
Strength through
brainwash slogan.
unity, unity through faith.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So we got V. We got meeting Evie, which I always like. I always like the part when she says her name and he kind of does that little like head cock, like, huh, E V. I like that. It pops out to me every time I watch it. And then we go right into the great scene of him blowing up the Old Bailey, the Hall of Justice, or whatever you want to call it, of England. It's called the Old Bailey, but it's where it's like their Supreme Court, and he blows it up to the raucous sounds of Tchaikovsky's 1812 Overture, which is just a brilliant choice of music. And I probably won't bring it up much because I didn't study into the music, but the use of music in this movie is incredible. Just the thoughtfulness that went into it, and some of the comparisons too, when we get later into Stephen Fry's character and V, when they're doing that whole comparison between the two, where they make the eggs the same way. They're playing the same song too, over like when she wakes up, and he says the same words. It's a cool little misdirect. But back to this, just like it's so exciting because especially if you hadn't read the book, or if you didn't even I didn't know what the 1812 Overture was exactly. Like I knew it was like a famous work of music, but like once that like you're like, what's going on? He's ting 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 ting, and he starts directing, and then you hear it, and she gets excited, and you get excited with her because it's like, oh, I recognize that music, and then the crescendo, and it's just when fireworks and everything's going crazy. I love that. It's again just like chills. It's such of music and effects all coming together and acting. It was wonderful. I love that scene. Hunter, you got any thoughts on that? I know I went kind of long on that little bit of.
Nah, man, it's good. Again, going over the music, great music selection that they end up bringing back at the end, which was a great callback to the beginning, which I love. We'll get to that in a minute. I'll bring up something. This shows the character of V and the way that he wants people to have the freedom to express themselves in any way. If I remember this world correctly, it wasn't like art and music, wasn't that all like outlawed?
Yeah, for the most part, it was basically like free thought. Anything that the church considered sinful was outlawed.
Yeah, but I love how he didn't care. He was like, this is the music I love. I'm going to play this music, and I'm going to blow your shit up at the same time.
Yeah.
A double F you.
I mean, I feel like it was even more symbolic than that it was like this is the power of art and great music. It was like that. Free thought to, like, we could tear down like he says, people shouldn't be afraid of their government should be afraid of their people.
I love that line.
Is the way it should be.
I live my life by that line.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, so anything else, like any specifics on that, Haven or Hunter?
Oh yeah, I'll say a few words.
Explosion. Yeah,
I'll say a few words. It's interesting because the first time you see the movie, you enjoy it, but you got to watch this movie again and again and again. Because when he went on the roof you know, he played the music and he starts moving his hands and he's doing all this. And I wonder if he didn't meet Evie that night, if he would have did that. And what's cool when you see him, you know, he seems almost awkwardish around another human being. He doesn't have a friend to talk to. Once you learn, you know, in the movie you learn that he doesn't. So he's socially awkward, but you know, he's still cool. He's still badass. He fights. He's smart. And it's just amazing because I always think when I see that scene, if she wasn't there, he probably would have just walked up to the front. The music would have started playing. He probably would have watched the thing go off and just turn away and leave, you know. But with Evie there, he almost had to be like a showman to be like, hey, look, this is, you know, this is what I'm doing. Look at this. Hey, what do you think about this? What do you think? You know, oh, man. And her expressions, you know, her bewilderment. I mean, she knocked out that role, man. Natalie Portman, I have to give a lot of praise because, oh, man, she was amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think she was a great choice. I always thought it was funny that they had like an entirely British cast, but then cast Natalie Portman. But she knocked it the hell out of the park, man. It was such a good. I mean, and like you said, just through her expressions, you're experiencing it too. You're like, because you're getting that like, I don't hear any music. What the hell is this crazy guy doing? And then it comes, and you just hear, and here comes the brass, and you hear it. It's just like, dude. And you get more excited because she's so excited. She's like, oh my God, I hear it. And then also another thing about that scene, it's the first time when you see the little girl in glasses who ends up, spoiler alert, who ends up wearing the V mask and getting killed at the end.
Well,
so it's so I feel like it's kind of showing like, you know, how you can, one person can inspire so much just by doing this one thing, playing the music over the speakers. And then also blowing up the Bailey.
One thing I was going to say, when they showed the girls foreshadowing, but I have to disagree. I don't think she actually died because I think that was like an alternative future of what could happen. Because at the end, I think she was with her family, you know, because that's when the two cops were talking about the possibilities of what would happen.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I just had to throw that in there, you know. But I think she's lived.
The way I always think that was that I thought that they were showing the people that had died for the fight, kind of saying that, like, you know, if you stand for something, you'll never die. Is how I always took the people taking off their masks at the end. Because Stephen Fry is one of them too, and he died.
Yeah, that was just I think that was when they showed him, I think it was more symbolism than anything.
Dietrich.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't think the girl died.
Sure.
Yeah, because I don't think the girl died because that's when Ben Mills is the underling of Stephen Ray, and Stephen Ray is, I guess, the lieutenant, the bigger cop, and they were just going through what if scenario, like the dominoes, like this is gonna happen. If this goes down the way I think it's gonna go down, and it kind of just showed what would happen when people march for freedom. The military has to, you know, retaliate against their own people. People start getting killed, and then it's a civil war. So I think they were showing like what it could, you know, accumulate to if it went that route.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, cool. So there's that. Then we're going to the first thing we see after that. You see John Hurt's huge ass face, which I have to point this out. John Hurt is awesome. He's in a ton of stuff, but the crazy thing is he was in the original 1984 movie, and playing basically the Evie character, because this movie's kind of loosely based, or the book was loosely based off of 1984 by George Orwell, and so it's funny seeing him coming from the kind of the Evie character, and now he's Big Brother or the High Chancellor Sutler. I always thought that was so funny the first time I saw it, and it still kind of makes me chuckle every time that now the revolutionary from the original movie. And they're talking blah blah blah. It doesn't really matter. They're gonna find him and they're gonna find her. Moving on, What do we got? Oh, I wrote down every British TV actor is in this. Y. Portman, the guy you were saying that was like working out the possibilities. I'll mention he's the cop from Sherlock. Sherlock now. So shout out to Benedict Cumberbatch. He's in everything. So love that. Oh, and then we go to the TV station where Evie works, which is
Before you say something, I was just gonna say, the first time we seen John Hurt, like you mentioned, he was playing the Chancellor Sugler. I was like, that was you seen his cabinet, of all the people, and we had Stephen Ray, the cop there. I guess he was like the number one cop, and his number two, almost like his vice president, was Tim Peggott Smith. I think Tim Peggott Smith is his full name, and I love the back and forth between him and John Hurt. Because John Hurt was basically blaming him for what was going on. And that's the meeting where they say that song from now on is blacklisted. Because before that, I guess music was kind of like, played in your house, but don't play too loud or will come in and kill the whole family, but, and it's crazy how the powerful, like you said, the arts could be, because the next day, they incorporated that song with terrorism. They're like, oh, that song blacklisted. Nobody can ever play that song again. And it's like, that's a classic song for like 2,000 years, and you're going to blacklist it, So it already showed just how strict it was going, and I like the back and forth, just all the heads in the room, Yeah.
It also shows that when governments get afraid, that they'll immediately go to the first reaction and be reactionary and not think things over.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely shows like the beginning of the fear that they're going to feel, because it already like that happens, and they're like, oh no, we don't know what happened. Scramble, like, yeah, blacklist the song. Somebody make up a story. Somebody make up a story quick. And then be like, oh, we what did they? I think they said it was a routine
demolition.
Demolition, yeah. that they give it an old send off by putting music on it.
Yeah.
Which I love that. But then if there, unless there's anything else on that. So yeah, it's also introducing us to basically all the people that V is gonna kill.
Yep. Or become an ally with.
Well, true. In the terms of the cop.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So then, now we're moving on to the TV station, where Evie works, and then basically, there's a bunch of stuff happens. There's a shipment of Guy Fawkes masks that come, and she's like, that's weird, and everybody else is just like, shut the fuck up and move on. And then V shows back up, and he takes over the station and releases the video, the come join me on the 5th of November next year. Basically, I'm paraphrasing all of what's happening. But because I mean, like, it's a really cool scene, but we've already kind of talked about most of the point of it. And then the cops raid it because he hijacked the station and put it over the emergency channel, so every channel is showing what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
And the cops come to try to shut him down, and he puts everybody in masks and outfits just like him.
I love that part. That's genius.
It's just another example of like, he's this revolutionary, like he blew up something, But again, he's smarter than everybody in that building.
Mm-hmm.
In that scene that you were talking about, the whole news scene, going to Evie's job, showing her day-to-day routine after what almost happened to her yesterday, coming to work, pretending everything is fine, got to be casual with the coworkers, and just seeing all the crazy stuff that happens at the studio. She's pretty much a runner. You see all the women getting ready for like a play or a TV show of some dancing, and
big
they get
dance
the
routine
and the
something.
mask. You get the cops come, you get the smoke, and
and then he used their smoke machines too. It wasn't like smoke grenades or anything. No, he just used what they had there to like turn it against everybody. But yeah, go ahead and finish what you were saying.
Just once he took over the station, you're like, okay. And then the panic from the government, and then them scrambling to get there. He already had it timed. He knew how long it was going to take them to get there. He knew, how many people were probably going to be on each floor. And I don't think I've ever seen that before in a movie except in Inside Man. So I got to go back and check which came out first. But I think V for Vendetta came out first, where you don't know who the hero, who the villain is, with all the hostages around. Like I was like, wow, this is so clever. I mean, it just, man, every frame or every next scene, the movie took me in a turn I never expected.
I do love how it shows that this scene in particular shows that V is a good guy who's trying to make change, but you can't have change without a little bit of bloodshed, without somebody getting hurt one way or another. And he'll do bad things, but it's all for a good reason.
Yeah, and we get into that with the next scene where, basically she's, well, not the next scene, but when she confronts him, being like, "Oh, did you kill the Voice of England?" I don't remember what his name was. I should have had it up. But yeah, and
his
he's
name,
like,
"Yeah." You talking about Stephen Fry, right?
No. When
Creedy?
Yeah. No, not Creedy. The guy who was on the news calling America.
Roger. Yeah, that's Roger Allen, and he was playing Louis Petrono.
Yeah, something like that. When he gets killed, and then she sees it on the news, and she's like, "Did you kill him?" And he's like, "Well, do you want me to lie to you or tell you the truth?" And he's like, then she asks him if he's gonna kill more people, and he's like, "Yes, yeah, like straight up, yeah, I'm gonna kill people." But it's like it's important. But going back to the TV studio, and what Hunter said, it was. I feel like that's where it really heated up to being like, oh no, this guy isn't just like a comic book hero, because we still haven't seen him kill anybody. He's destroyed a place that was empty, and he beat up some cops. But now he full on just like murdered him, like stabs dude like through the throat into the brain with his knife at one of the cops. And like I think the only reason he didn't kill the guy from Sherlock is because Evie was there. Dominic, the cop's partner.
Yeah.
I think he's lucky that Evie came up and maced him, because he was gonna get killed.
Yep. And then of course the next scene, she's like going crazy, like, what have I done? Why did I do this? Blah blah blah.
Well, yeah. She also finds out. We'll go ahead and move on to that. We go next to the Shadow Gallery, V's home, which is just like, so we see her. She wakes up. She's in bed, and she's just in this room full of books that have been banned by the government. And she walks out, and there's art and there's sculptures, and it's like things of beauty for the first time in this movie. You're seeing all these like fantastic works and paintings and flowers and everything.
cooking
and
breakfast for her.
and and she's like so excited about it, and then come to find out, oh yeah, no, you're stuck here for a year.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, yeah, I'm sorry, but like it was either like leave you there to be probably killed. I mean, if not, you're going to be tortured and interrogated at the very least, because she makes the cop. But then, yeah, he's like, oh yeah, you have to stay here until the 5th of November next year when my plan is done. And that's when she freaks out. And it's like, what the hell did I do?
Yeah, I would too, though.
I mean, yeah, anybody tells you you wake up somewhere that you're like, and you're like, oh yeah, no, you have to stay here for a while.
Yeah.
It's going to freak a person out.
And then she apologizes and
he makes her breakfast.
yeah.
Which is another bit of like, I love the music in the shadow gallery, that like old timey jazz music that's going on. Just everything that happens in the shadow gallery. I think we can cover that now instead of like coming back later. Of like watching The Count of Monte Cristo, or the jukebox that he just has all this old music that he stole, that he puts on and he plays with her, or the part when he's like oh, what is it? If you can't dance at a revolution, it's not a revolution worth having, or something.
Yeah.
I like, I love that part. It's so great and so
One of
beautiful.
my favorite scenes in the entire movie takes place in the shadow gallery, but we don't know it. It's when Evie's in that prison center that we find out is in the shadow gallery. And I just love that story of I forgot her name, but the gay chick, whatever.
Oh right.
That's Natasha Wingnam, and that's Igmana Poltz. They played Valerie and Valerie.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that scene because, again, so relevant today with, you know, the gay rights and all that stuff, and the way it hits you emotionally of them being taken away and, you know, pretty much killed for it. It's just, it's hard because we do see that again today, and they were doing it back in 2005. You know, it's like, where have we really gone from that time?
Yeah, right. Go ahead, Haven.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was gonna say one thing both of you guys didn't mention was that's the first time when she wakes up and then she comes in the kitchen and he's cooking breakfast. That's the first time we see his hands.
Yep.
And then he puts his gloves back on, you know. And it's interesting because we never actually see his face or any of that, but it gave us a hint there as to, you know, what he is or what he became. The gallery was stacked. I mean, it reminded me of a bat cave. You know, he had everything, all his trophies in there. It was for a long time you didn't know where that was, or you know, or what location or how far it was from like the city. And then the reveal is like, you know, it reminds me of like Persons of Interest right now, you know, that I'm watching, where their headquarters is like basically just like on the street somewhere, just a random apartment. You know, you never know. You can walk by it a million times as a whatever their equivalent to a cop was, and you never think that this is the place where this guy has all these riches and just all these rooms of chaos.
Another part of that. Go ahead. Oh, but one of my that scene I like more is when she's in the jail cell and she doesn't give up V's name, even though she's being tortured and, you know, going to the firing squad. She's not going to give up who he is. He comes out and he's like, "You have no fear anymore. Your fear was death, but now you don't fear that anymore. You believe in my vision so much that you would give your life for it."
Yeah, and I think the whole point of that whole sequence was to kind of get her to understand, because I mean and also us to understand, as you know, like we're seeing this through her eyes, to to understand more about him, because everything we learn about V, other than the like badass, is in the Shadow Gallery, and we find out like Haven was saying that like he doesn't have friends. He's an awkward guy. He's always hiding. Like you only ever see his hands. That's the only part of his body you ever see. He's introverted. He's a nerd. He sword fighting a suit of armor when she wakes up that one time. Like it's just like it's so endearing and awesome, like to get to know him, but then like to really understand him, she had to go through that that trauma, because on the outside, and even on a personal level, he never takes the mask off until she's experienced that. Like now she knows what it is to be him, which I thought was pretty powerful.
Yeah.
So anything else on the Shadow Gallery? I mean, yeah, the torture scene we could go over probably for an hour, just because there's so much there. And then like the thing that kept her going is the toilet paper roll novel.
Another thing I'm going to bring up, I do like how after you find out it was just, pretty much V, I had that feeling that she had. It was like, oh, so he made up that story. And then you realize, no, that was an actual person. That was an actual story. He's got that shrine of her. And that was something that really happened. And I think that was a turning point for Evie of like, okay, this is what we're fighting for.
Yeah, and then you also realize that he's not killing these people for revenge. He's doing it for justice for the one person that kept him alive.
Yeah.
When he was being imprisoned.
And then, of course,
she was killed. It's not like a personal vengeance story. He's doing this for someone else. It's never about him.
No.
And it never was.
I do like that scene after she gets out of that torture scene and she just breaks down crying. They're just holding each other. I like that connection between V and Evie. It slowly grows from I don't want to be here to I understand your vision to okay, I think I love this person. The steps that it goes from beginning of the movie to the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I could throw in a little knowledge about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we jumped a little ahead but we're talking about all the stuff at the house. Because before the house,
I figured we'd do all that before we move on, just to so we don't have to keep revisiting it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So right before the house, he black, we didn't know it at the time, but she got black bagged at Stephen Fry's house. And when she wakes up and the torture and the shaving her head, she's scraping and finding the letter. I thought Hugo Weaving was just amazing in this movie because he changed his voice. Like I thought maybe it was a government agent. The whole time the movie shifted in such a crazy direction. Once she got to jail and she started reading letters, like I was like, why am I starting to cry? Like, what the fuck's going on here? I'm like, what is going on? And it just showed that just Wingnut was the one that was the character in the movie. As the movie started, I fell in love with the girl, and her voice, she's, why Natalie Portman's reading letters, she's the one narrating it. And I'm just like captivated, like, holy shit. And I'm thinking, man, what's going to happen? The whole time I'm thinking, when is V going to come rescue? When is V going to come rescue her? Interrogated, you don't see the guy's face. You think it's somebody else. You see prison guards outside. And just to reveal that movie had me and everybody else in the theater, like collectively, like just like, whoa, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, mind blown. I mean, mind blown.
Yeah, I
Hell
was
yeah,
like,
dude, like-
sitting now, I was like, when is V gonna come? You know, I can't take this anymore. All of a sudden, you find out he was behind it.
Yeah.
Such a good scene.
I mean, yeah, like, I mean, dude, like, when I first saw it, you know, I was just as angry as, well, maybe not just as angry as she was, but I was, like, angry at him, too, like, but then just the way he explained it, it's just like, oh, it switches just like that to being, oh, well, and now I understand, and so we can move on, and, you know, you've converted me. I am part of this revolution now, which is
See,
the whole.
I was never angry at it. I actually thought it was a beautiful moment
It was
because
psychological torture.
it was, but she needed that to understand what he was going through. He kept explaining it to her. He was like, "This is what I'm fighting for." She kept running away. She didn't want to be there. I understand that. He was like, "You can leave anytime you want." After that scene, he was like, "You can leave,
Yeah.
or you can stay with me, and we can fight this together."
It was almost. Oh, go ahead, Hunter. Sorry, go ahead.
It's fine. She needed that to see what the whole vision was going to be at the end, because learning all about Natasha's story and realizing it's real, and these are real people who are being taken by the government to be killed because they're different, or, you know, they're not like the normal people, or the normal, you know, what they consider to be normal. Yeah, she needed to see that firsthand and experience that to be able to really comprehend it.
Yeah, I mean, and especially because, you know, her parents were freedom fighters, and that's another thing we find out in the Shadow Gallery, that her parents were freedom fighters because her brother was killed in a school. Was it a bombing or a massacre? I don't remember what happened.
I think it was a bomb.
Yeah, I thought.
Yeah, I think it was a bomb.
Yeah. So then, after that happened, her parents became revolutionaries, but also, like, so she was in so much awe of the Shadow Gallery was that, you know, she'd read some of these books. Like, she was an actress in school. Like, she loves the arts. All of that kind of crazy stuff comes out, but she's afraid. She doesn't have the courage to do something about it.
Yeah.
Like her parents are, and so I think that's really why he did it to her, is because she just kept saying, you know, I can't do this. I'm not strong enough to do this.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could. And then he was like, all right, well, I'm going to make it so you can then.
Yeah. Let's go back a bit, because I just remembered, like, when she was first getting blackbagged and kidnapped by V. If you realize, like, we had that flashback of her and her parents. She was like, her mom was like hiding under the bed. Is that the same thing that was it Stephen Fry's character, or was it somebody else's character?
No, yeah,
Stephen Fry.
that was Stephen Fry's character. Yeah.
And he runs and he's like hiding under the bed, and then you see just that exact same thing that's happening to her before as a child, you know, as a child, is now coming back around.
Yep. And that you also, like, you find out that they weren't her parents also interned at the same place too as V. You find that out in the end.
Yeah.
That she thought they were killed, but they were blackbagged, and they ended up being there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also another cool thing. All right, now let's get back into the main plot. We've covered all of that. Where do we go? Okay, so there's then we go to the Bill O'Reilly type guy, the voice of the nation, taking a shower, and I wrote down that I guarantee you that's how Bill O'Reilly showers.
I don't know, but that's that was Roger Lehman is his name.
Okay, Roger Langman. Yeah,
In the movie.
just the way, yeah,
I mean, no, that's the name of real life.
Okay. Yeah.
It was Lewis some shit in the movie.
Not Despero. Yeah, and that he so he's taking a shower and watching the rebroadcast of his show and just like hyping himself up, and I was just like, I guarantee that is like how the people that get paid to be like political loudmouths like do it. They're just like inundated with their own like sanctimonious shit all day.
That's Trump right there.
Yeah. No, see, Trump, his shower would have been made of gold, and there's like brown woman.
Well, we don't want to get too political. We don't know what our viewers are into.
That's true. That's true.
Freedom for all.
Indeed. But so going back, and then so we find out that he was a captain, I believe, at the facility where V was being held. That burned down, and we also see a flashback of that before he kills him, and leaves a rose that we find out later is because those are the types of roses that the two ladies that wrote the notes in the jail grew.
Yeah.
So. Any thoughts on that? I think we can kind of zip through some of it. But if you got any thoughts on that that reveal, I guess that like, oh, there's so much going on in this movie. There's a ton of like weird like subplots that happen that I didn't see coming, and like so that was another weird one because again, you're expecting it to be weirdly political, and then they make it kind of personal, you know?
Yeah. That whole scene and the reveal. I mean, I like how
let's go ahead and encompass like the investigation after too. Like I'm not talking about just that specific scene because that was only like 2 minutes in the movie. We don't have to get.
Yeah, but I do like the reveal of like, okay, this is what started his crusade. Was being tortured, and I do like how Natalie Portman's character Evie brings to the point is like, is this for revenge or is this because you actually believe in freedom for people? Because you can see it either way. You can see it, oh, he's trying to get revenge and vengeance on these guys for what they did to him. He even brings up, he's like, you know, what they did to me was
Prospero. That was his name.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. Keep going.
That's fine. He even brings up, he's like, what they did to me was savage and was, you know, not right. And she goes, well, what you're doing to them is you're pretty much becoming them now because you're murdering people and you're torturing people. I like that dynamic of, is he doing this for vengeance or is he doing this for freedom? And we kind of learn the answer at the end of the movie of what his whole vision was going to be.
Yeah, that's cool. Yes, indeed. I like this little snippet. I'm trying to find it right now about that flashback scene that we see V climbing out of the fire for the first time at Larkhill. That I found this quick little trivia thing that his stunt double, he literally walked through fire with nothing but fire-resistant gel and a G-string on.
Whew!
Yeah. They shot it. It was like...
I was committed.
Yep.
Right?
That's some...
It was 3 degrees below zero outside, and they iced the gel, and they just walked through fire, literally.
That's some Daniel Day-Lewis method acting right there.
Right.
Becoming the character.
All right, so yeah, we covered a lot of stuff, it seems like, because if we're covering V's story when he comes out of the fire, that means we already seen the doctor, the female doctor at the facility, and that was Sadney Kazaks. she played the female doctor. So when
Yep.
the story was revealed, like we had so much stuff. We seen John Hurt again. We seen the tension between him and Tim Smith. We seen the cop trying to go hard, trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, doing the investigation, getting stalled up by everybody basically saying, you're welcome to check our records, but we don't know anything not being there.
Huh.
Oh yeah, but so while all this is happening, don't we go to the church scene?
Yes. I think it's either that or the her showing up at Steve. Oh yes, you're right. No, yes, scene. Because she decides she's going to help him.
Oh, yep. That scene too.
Or no, she tricks him into thinking she's going to help him.
And then she backstabs him, and then
she wants. Yeah, so that's his second hit. We're going to dude. Anytime you put Natalie Portman in like a weird sexy outfit is like
I'm in.
I'm sent for it. Dress her up like a schoolgirl. It was creepy, but man, that certainly was a pleasure to see.
Yeah, I mean, you can say she was already overage, so but yeah, she looked at, she's a beautiful woman, and that that outfit was not my preference as a grown adult, but it was hot to a T.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, the overarching, political views of a priest and, what they were talking about before they went in there of the girls or anything, something like that.
Yeah, and then like even his assistant being like, "Oh, at the company," and they sent someone who was a little
older,
who was like too old. Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, I hope not too old."
Yeah.
Like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, you want to fucking kill that guy as soon as you heard him say that shit. I was like, yeah. He deserves to die. Oh, that was played by actor John Standing. He played the priest.
John Standing. All right.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, he played that nasty motherfucker.
Yeah.
But just like the overarching,
trying to remember what else he was in, because I've definitely seen him in other things too.
Yeah, I've seen him in small, minor roles, but nothing major.
Yeah, I mean he's a character actor for sure. Probably. He was in the Borgias, I think. Yeah. Game of Thrones. He was Jon Arryn. There you go.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Cool. So then after that, they go back to Shadow Gallery, and there's the whole investigation thing. The two cops are being basically stonewalled by everybody in the government. And then I'm trying to remember what happens next. We're moving forward kind of quick.
Well, yeah, because the movie just keeps moving at a fast pace.
Yeah.
The cops are trying to. The cop, Stephen Ray and his partner, I think Rupert Graves is his partner, Dominic
Graves.
Yep, they're both trying to figure out what the real story is. John Hurt and the government, they're really getting pissed the hell off. You see you see Evie in the field for the first time. She's telling the priest what's going on. He thinks it's a joke because he's such a pervert.
Yep.
Then
that's so good too. And he's just like, "Oh, it's a new game I've never played."
Yeah, and then V just stonewalls in there and beats the shit out of people.
Yeah.
I do like how
walks in like.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, after you.
After he finds out that Evie, pretty much turned on him and told the priest what was going on, I like how even though he has his mask on, you could tell how hurt he was by that.
Yeah, and it's all from the voice acting too.
Yep.
Like that's all you're getting from him. I mean, there's some tricks with the lighting and stuff. I read on some website that actually they were going to try to make different masks, different Guy Fawkes masks to express slightly different to make him more expressive. And I'm so glad that they didn't do that
Yeah, that would be such a cop out.
because it was just such a performance though that like I mean you didn't need it. It made it that much more powerful that it was just this blank Guy Fawkes mask.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I like how you can express something
Yeah.
just by voice. You don't have to show expression a lot. It helps, but if you have a good voice and you can portray what you're feeling, that's powerful right there. And that's the whole overarching story, is that words have power in this movie. Which that little
Yep.
that little subtle hint right there was pretty cool.
And also like the like the whole kind of point of V's story is that the individual isn't important. It's the idea that the individual is standing for. Now I always liked that because you know, like they say, like a person can die, but like the they're gonna live forever because of what they did, because what they stood for.
Oh yeah. Because then after all that, if you don't mind, because then she leaves
Yeah,
him.
absolutely.
She's done, right? She gets to a point where she's like, "Look, I'm leaving. I'm going on my own," and she walks out on him, and he really
Yeah,
shows.
and then she runs to Stephen Fry's character, Dietrich.
No,
But yeah, go ahead, finish your. Is it? Yeah,
no,
that's
she
the
ran
next.
to him before because then he got black bagged because of his the book, the religious book, and that's when she got black bagged.
Right.
When she leaves him for
Mm-hmm.
the second time, um,
After the torture scene.
Oh, right.
no,
Right.
no,
Okay.
way
Sorry.
after that, she leaves him. She's like, "Look, I'm gonna go on my own," and he's like, "Okay." And when she walks out the house, you know, he smashes, you know, he's like slamming cups, I think, or plates or something. He
Yeah.
really shows his emotions for the first time because before that, you never really seen him get emotional. He was always tactical.
Yeah.
And then,
And I mean,
I think that's, and then I think right there, I think he goes to the doctor's house, the female doctor, and she finds the rose,
mm-hmm.
talks to him, real intimate. And I love when she was like, "Oh, it's gonna be painful." He's like, "Oh, I already drugged you 10 minutes ago. Like you're
Yeah.
good." You know, so he
She's
showed
like,
compassion.
you're already dead. You don't even know it. We're just having a nice little conversation now.
Yep.
Yeah, so you can
And then
tell
the
for
rose.
revenge.
Yeah, I do. I feel like that was the. It was the one point where he, you know, metaphorically takes off the mask, like finally lets it come down that like he's a person, you know, he's not just this I like perfect ideal of a revolutionary. He is a human person, and that makes it even more powerful that what he's doing, you know. And yeah, that like, you know, he's not a cold-blooded killer. Like he has compassion and he feels things. He just also happens to be. Are you crying, Hunter?
No, I'm just tired.
Did we? Oh. All right. So that was kind of out of the way. Let's see. Let's go ahead and jump to the scene when she's at Gordon's house. Because that's after because the priest dies, cops are investigating. I think that's the next big plot point is Stephen Fry's house, Big Daddy Dietrich. At least from what I'm remembering.
No, that happened way before.
I could be wrong.
That happened before the torture scene. Before, when she got black bagged, we already talked about that.
No, yeah, no. I'm going from we did the priest scene right after the priest scene. Isn't that
No. Before that.
No.
Yeah, because when she went to Stephen Fry's house, he showed her the Islamic Bible, and then he got raided, and Hunter made the point of the parallel. So that already happened way before she became Ted.
One funny line I like from that scene is where he makes her breakfast, and it's the same breakfast that V made. He's like, "I'm actually V," you know?
Yeah, like, but like, I mean, again, when we're talking about attention to detail, and then I also want to get into the revelation because his character, is a playboy. But I'll get into that in a second. Yeah, like in that scene, the same music is playing as when V makes her breakfast. He says the exact same thing that V said when he greets her. It's like almost shot for shot. I mean, as much as could be on those two different sets, the exact same scene that starts out that way, and I thought that was fantastic. And also, like I said this off camera before, but like the clocks pointing it being like 11:05 and stuff like that. All these little things that you can miss, but over and over catch all these little subtle hints that they put in purposely, which are awesome.
Yeah.
To it, the revelation that this playboy, who has girls over, like she was going there to be his dinner date, and he's got a reputation for having loose girls over all the time. She sees into his nook, and he shows her the Quran, these old flags, and all this other stuff, and in there is this a book of gay porn, and we find out that he's gay too.
I didn't see that.
Which is like a huge reveal.
Yeah, he was homosexual.
No, you didn't.
He had all the paintings with the asses out.
Oh,
Woo!
yeah.
You see that, Hunter? You probably must have. Yeah, he had all that stuff.
Granted,
man.
I did watch it at like 12 midnight. Did finish till 4, so.
Wow. Yeah. So,
yeah, that was the second time. Oh, sorry.
I mean, go ahead. I was just kind of filling.
No, I was gonna say that's the second time they kind of showed a gay person in the movie, but it didn't really like beat you over the head with it. It was kind of like, hey, I'm gonna tell you my secret.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like he was like, it wasn't like he walked in the room, and it started playing like I'm every woman, and shit. He didn't walk in like, it was just like, hey, I'm gay, and they're like, oh shit, the government is gonna kill your ass. So so it showed the fears from.
Yeah, and I feel like that was an especially important scene for the Wachowskis to write, because it is them giving voice to all of that they were feeling. Obviously, we know now that they had all those things going on. Not necessarily being gay, but being a different sexuality, different person, and feeling persecuted and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was I really love that scene. Well, all of the scenes, but you could tell that those ones, they were written so well and portrayed so well. I mean, Stephen Fry's a gay actor too, who's been famous for forever, and then came out not very long before that movie. So that was a huge thing. I really love that part of the movie. And then we'll move on.
We are completely out of order, but
yeah, I know. I'm not trying to do the whole plot. I'm just trying, like, getting parts of the movie that we want to talk about. We don't have to go into detail and everything.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, kind of right now I'm going through the synopsis and trying to like skip through, but I don't want to, like, if you guys have anything you want to jump in on, make sure you jump in whenever you like remember what the thing is, because I'm just trying to run through it. We're a while. We should probably speed up a little. Oh yeah. So then we meet the lady doctor, who's there. And she can't offer any information. For instance, returns to headquarters. Oh, and then so that's then his partner reveals that the lady doctor is in fact the lady that they were looking for, and he goes to her house and find out that V had already killed her. So we covered that.
I kind of want to get to the ending, but
then we get to yeah. I mean, if there's something you want to talk about, I'm just trying to get through to give you guys places to jump in. If you got something specific, we can go to it. We don't even have to go in order.
The one scene I like is when the whole city bands together and they're all wearing the Guy Fawkes mask, and they're all just walking down the city, and V had already killed the prime minister or the president or whatever.
Oh, hold on 1 second before you say that. I didn't mean to cut you off, but before you talk about that, I just want to talk about the build, getting to it. You know, we stayed on the middle of the movie, and we didn't move forward to the nitty gritty, which was, and his vice president. They had so much tension that they played right into V's hands. They both wanted to double cross each other, and V, you know, with the help of the cop, when V met the cop, you know, in the old man suit, like he was already setting up these things to happen.
That's a great scene.
And
do you want to jump on that scene?
And that's where Hunter got. That's what I just want to mention before you started going, Hunter. So.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying, like, I like how this one particular scene shows that one guy can band a whole city or a whole country together to make a change. It starts with one person. That was all I was going for that scene particularly. And then we can go back and talk about what led up to it. But I like how it shows one guy, if he really tries and makes a difference, that it, even when he's gone, the legacy continues.
Absolutely, yeah. That was a good spot. But yes. Okay, so. Damn. Then we hear about how V's burned throughout his whole body. Gordon, Dietrich does the show that's making fun of, Chancellor Sutter.
And that's what ends up getting
which is a great scene. I love, because it's like, oh, then there's V, and then Chancellor Sutter's chasing V around, and Yakety Sax is playing.
Yeah, and then
it's an old Benny Hill cartoon.
And then he's like, "Oh, what are you gonna do? Fire us? We're the #1 top-rated show on TV right now." And then, of course, he does something.
And then, he gets black bagged, and then we get into the torture scenes. I'm just flying through now, trying to pick out points. He's worried about his face.
And then
we find out about Valerie.
Right after the torture scene is when she leaves for the second time, and he asked her.
That rooftop scene in the rain, though, like, I just want to, like, at that, like, the acting and the way they shot it and everything. I love that scene.
I love that scene too.
It's iconic. Just everything about, like, her just standing with her bald head, just like arms open, just like crying in the rain.
Mm-hmm.
Is so powerful. I love that scene.
And then, like, she asked to leave, but he has that one request of, on November 5th, come back and see me.
Yeah. Just, like, give me this one. Because, I mean, that's the thing. Like, he's pretty sure he's going to die. He just, that's the one thing he wants. He wants one more, goodbye. He wants to see her one more time before he dies.
One more dance.
Yeah. Back in the gallery, she no longer stay, breaks down in tears. All right, then there's the scene with Sutter yelling at Creedy and all the other people about how they can't even stop one terrorist. What the hell's wrong with everybody?
I do like how it shows
about how the terrorist is still alive.
Well, let me jump in right quick, brothers.
Yeah.
That scene on the roof, the reveal that we were just talking about, you gentlemen discussed. After that movie, who's gonna tell me that once the rain happened, if it was a day after or a couple days after, that they didn't go out there, take the coat off and say,
and
fuck
stand
the
in
coat.
the rain. Yeah.
And stand in the rain, because I sure did. After I seen Evie do it.
Absolutely.
Powerful.
Dude. I didn't wear a coat in the rain for years.
Yeah.
Then so we got that. V wants to dance with her. This is a great scene. Again, like, I love the music in this movie. It's used so well, and like the choices are great. I didn't have them written down. This was kind of I did my notes like last minute and fell asleep in the halfway through, so I didn't get all of the things written down that I wanted to.
I didn't do any notes, so
yeah, it's all good. So I promise next show, I'll have more notes. This will be more structured, but right now I'm going from the plot synopsis. So, but then let's see.
Let's go to the end.
Yeah,
well,
let's do it.
Street scene. Hunter talked about the street scene.
Yeah. So V he sends out a freaking Guy Fawkes mask. It seems like to every person in London, which is it seems like a logistical nightmare, but he did it. So. So they. And the build up to this is the government. Again, I was saying Sutter yelling at everybody, "How can you not catch him?" But leading up to this, the government's going crazy, and more people are seeing like, "Oh yeah, the 5th of November is coming up." They're ready to join him, like he asked in the very beginning with on that TV station. He asked them to join him on the 5th of November when he blows up Parliament.
Speaking of that, of like the people coming together, and sorry to interrupt, but the scene after she leaves him for the first time and she sees that guy or that kid starting to write the V symbol on the
poster, and
he drops it and she picks up the can.
Yep.
The seed planting right there.
Yeah, and that's another thing. I mentioned the little girl before, and I don't think we've touched on after. Is you see her when they say that the Bailey was blown up, it was scheduled. She goes bollocks. Basically saying it's bullshit in British. And throughout the movie, you keep flashing back to this one specific young kid who's becoming more and more radicalized by the actions of the government and just seeing the inspiration. So, so that to the point that she picks up the spray can, and then later we see she's wearing the Guy Fawkes mask and she's drawing the V, and then you get the visited was a hypothetical scene where she's shot and killed.
Huh.
That was beautiful.
November.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that bridge. I like the cops. The two cops. We haven't talked about them enough, but
that's true.
they were
only
they
so
were
much time to talk about.
Sure.
yeah, they're so I know it's getting late. I know Hunter's tired, but yeah, that's they worked well, taking the facts and just getting the clues and building it up that I really was invested in them. And I'm glad they didn't die, because they were nice guys, and they were just true guys. They just wanted everything.
Yeah, they were
And
they were the only good people in the government.
Yeah.
yeah. And I just like that, just seeing the power of the message on TV and everybody going outside. Like I was like, holy shit, man.
And of course
And then you're literally thinking of like, oh my god, like because they called out the military, and they're literally facing down guns. As all of these people wearing the Guy Fawkes masks, they're just walking, and the chancellor orders them to shoot anyone in a Guy Fawkes mask, but then it's just like there's hundreds of people. You'll be killing half the city if you do that. Yep. And then like just the pure panic of the like soldiers and the government as this is happening is like it's palpable. You feel it.
And then
it's awesome.
What I think is probably the best interaction between V and Evie is when he takes her to the underground subway or train or whatever, and it's got all the bombs, explosives. He's like, it's your choice.
Yeah, after their dance.
Yeah, he's like, if you want to do this, then you do it. I was so blinded by vengeance and, wanting to get payback that I'm not clear of mine. I'll go fight, but it's your decision at the end of the day if you want to do it.
Yeah, and then he leaves her and goes and meets with the head of the Fingermen, Creedy.
Yeah.
And that's when we're getting into the action stuff again. Now we get in the like awesome fight scene. So just what do you guys got on that? It's he comes, he's gonna betray the Chancellor. Or he does betray the Chancellor, and then V's like, all right, well we're just gonna kill it. None of us are leaving alive.
Mm-mm.
And then it's an awesome fight scene where they shoot the hell out of him, and he's like, before you can reload, I'm gonna kill you, and then they do. What do you guys got on that scene?
I absolutely love this scene. I love the action. I love how he pretty much taunts him. He's like, yes, you can kill me, but before you reload, you're going to be dead. We're all dying today. Especially, he tells the Chancellor or whatever, he's like, and he goes, how am I going to die? He goes, with my hands around your throat. And
yep,
that's what happens. He's a man of his word to the T.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Exactly.
That scene was so amazing, guys. And that seemed like something from the Matrix, with the rain and when his foot was splashing on the puddles while he was moving.
Yeah.
His sides were just cutting through guys and he was just getting shot up. That scene was that was a climax that everybody wanted to see, and it happened. Mm-hmm. And I was so happy for it.
And again, back to the way the action was shot.
It paid off so well. Yeah. Yes.
And the way it was shot, again, was, I want to say revolutionary because everybody else has done it. The slow-mo into the regular motion. I mean, hell.
Yeah.
That action shot was being used in Wonder Woman this year. It's still being used today.
Yep.
I mean, showing how great that one looked for this particular movie. Of you see the slow-mo cut of the blood coming out, and you see him just going rampage style.
I feel like that's probably one of the best instances of like the weird like slow-mo CGI gore. Is like it doesn't look fake or like it's literally it's like crazy blood splatter but it looks real. It's just slowed down. I love the way they did that. the tracers on the knives. I think we talked about this off camera, not on. But yeah, I love like he spins it and you're seeing it like in the comic book when he spins the knives. You see like the weird like tracers thing that's happening.
Yeah, it's like the whoosh whoosh sound. Like
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I do love back on the action. I do love how this movie could just be all, comic book movie, have all actions, gunfire. It's not like that. This movie has 2 action scenes, but it works because the whole movie is so good and well written and
Well written.
Yes. And the acting is so good that you pretty much forget, hey, there hasn't been that much action, but I'm invested in the characters and the story.
Yeah. That's actually like, yeah, even that, like, I'd say that that style of action probably got bigger with like Zack Snyder and 300, and like Watchmen 2 also did that. But yeah, I like that's the first one that I can think of. I mean, besides The Matrix, that had that kind of thing, and it is like they're definitely perfected it. It's one of the best movies to have that style of shooting that's ever done it.
Yeah. And then of course the big plan happens. She pulls the lever after he gets killed.
So yeah, after that he's severely injured because he stood there and let the fingermen shoot him, just to prove a point that even with this, like, I'm gonna kill you all. And so he's shot a bunch of times. He strangles and then breaks Creedy's neck. And then he goes and he staggers back into the subway tunnel and meets with Evie one last time. And
then, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say I love.
No, I was just gonna say, and then there's the whole like the last goodbye, and then I don't know how she had time to arrange his body with all the roses around him.
True.
Like that seemed like it took a long time. There was a lot of setup, and where did those roses come from? Because they were not there before.
Yeah, they were. They were in the. If you look up off in the corner again, you can see like a few boxes of roses there. Okay. And he was gonna put, he was gonna throw them out after he blew up Parliament.
Well, I think
they were on the train. I don't think he was ever. I don't think he ever planned to live. He just wanted to make sure that. I think maybe he wanted to. Maybe he would have played it differently if he didn't have Evie for the train.
Right.
But all the flowers were dedicated to the girl, and once that thing blew up, they were going to be in there with all that dynamite or whatever he had in that train.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that was actually cool. So because he left it all on the line on the battlefield, and when the cop came, and him and Evie, because I think that's only the second time they actually talked in the movie. The cop and
there's
Evie.
the time that she gets like questioned the first time, and then other than that, they don't meet at all.
No, until the end.
Yeah.
And just like, who is she? And then she's like, oh, he was me. He was you. He was our fathers. He was our brother. He was the postman. I was like, oh.
Yeah. I do like how when they end up doing the kiss scene between V and Evie, it's not all romanticized and taking off the mask to see the face. No, she kissed the mask because she realizes the mask is really him.
Yeah.
Yes.
The person underneath it isn't important because he's not that person.
Yeah.
I love that.
And especially when he tells her, he's like, this is just skin and then muscle and then bone. The real me is this mask right here. Hence why he wears that mask.
Yeah.
Which I just love the symbolism there.
And then so you got that. She's talking, doing that great monologue about how he asked who V was and that he's every one of us kind of thing.
And then the music comes back.
Yeah, and everybody's just standing there. They've walked past the military. They just didn't stop. They just kept going, and the
Yeah, they're
and
marching strong.
yeah, and even though they were ordered to shoot, they stood down because how are you going to murder the people that live in your?
Well, no, I
Yeah.
like how I think it was more of he was trying to get confirmation of should we shoot, but the chancellor was already dead, so he got no answer, and they just walked right through it.
Well, I mean, yeah, but they were given a kill order before.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he questioned it because he wasn't cool with it. No human being will be cool with that. Just
Yeah, I
murdering your
mean,
own people.
literally murdering your neighbors.
Yeah, and
Especially
it
half of
was a good
England.
situation because when you're in the military, you have to obey the orders. So that's
Yeah.
why he was asking for confirmation. But he didn't. You seen in his face, he didn't want to do anything. If it was gonna endanger people, and he had his men out there. So he's just like, what? What? And then all the people just and they were all dressed so with the masks and the capes.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love that.
Love that.
Oh man, I think that brought to a tear to my eye. It was so beautiful.
Oh, absolutely, dude. At the end of this movie, when I saw it in the theaters, it was just like everything came together so well, and the music starts, and it's she's says something, and flash cut to V, and then flash cut to the square around Parliament, and then it's going a little further, and she says something, and flash to the people again, and flash to V again, and then the crescendo comes. And boom, it goes up like the 4th of July times like 25. It's
and the
incredible.
fireworks have a V on them, if you notice
Yeah.
that. Also.
Yeah, of course. That's how it was in the comics. But that's when you seen the flashbacks when she was telling the cop, and you kept flashing the people. It was through her eyes. That's why you seen Stephen Fry, and her parents. Because she was the one telling him, like, V is everyone. Everyone that says, hey, wait a minute, this ain't right. That's V.
Yep, exactly. And then, I mean, yeah, so that's pretty much the end of the movie. She has a little Stinger finishes up her speech, but that's it. Everybody takes their masks off, and you see all the people who have died and fought for this, and yeah, like you said, that's what's important. It's those people. It's not any one individual person. It's everybody. And that's the end of the movie. So I guess, do we want to do a general overall rating?
Yeah, I mean, if you guys watch my movie reviews, I'm talking to the audience, but if you guys
Sorry, I had to change cameras real quick.
that's fine. If you guys watch my ratings, I do 1 to 5 stars. I would give this a 5-star, man. I mean, it's probably one of my favorite comic movies now. Just from the story, the acting, the action, the way it was shot, everything is a 5 stars for me.
You know what? That's the beautiful thing about this movie is you don't think of it as a comic book movie. So I don't really try to link, but it is a comic book movie. It's based on a comic book. But man, this movie is just so great. I give it 5 stars.
Yeah, I'm gonna plug it in.
Oh. What's going
Sorry,
on?
you cut out. I didn't hear that, but
we both gave it 5 stars.
I didn't. If you I gotta rate this movie. I'd rate it pretty goddamn high. Also, I mean, it's probably a 5-star for me. Also, it's one of the best comic book movies. It's super good, and it's like I said, it's timeless. It's got a great message. Like I can't find very many flaws in this movie.
Speaking of that, what is the flaws that you guys can think of from this movie?
None.
What's up?
The flaws, just little things that you felt were out of place or didn't work for you or anything like that?
None.
Did you say none?
Yeah, he said none.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like there was any wasted time or anything really that wrong with the movie. I think, I mean, it's pretty flawless.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, at least there's nothing that I can think of like pop out right now.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with this movie, but no movie is perfect. You know what I'm saying? There are like little things in here, like I'm really nitpicking here, but it's more of what Kelly brought up, like how did she get the body and the roses? It's just that doesn't bother me. It's just something that I found interesting.
Well, he got the body because he went back there.
No. I'm talking about like how did she put the body there, get all the roses, and then do that thing?
He did all that. He did all that. He gave her that train. She didn't have to do any of that.
I'm talking about like where he laid, like where she laid the body, she got all the roses, and then just the time span. But other than that, and that was just a very nitpicky thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess there were a couple of those little things that I did point out, mostly as a joke, though. It wasn't. It wasn't a serious critique. It was more just like a nitpick.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I mean, that's like, well, so that something happened in a movie that doesn't make 100% sense.
True.
I mean, it's a movie. It's a movie. That's gonna happen, sort of.
I mean, overall, like, I don't give a lot of movies 5 out of 5s, but this one definitely gets a 5 out of 5 for me.
Yeah, I think so. That's like a 5 out of 5 all around.
Yeah, 15 stars.
What's that?
15 stars.
6 stars. I'm sorry, man. You're breaking up now pretty hard. For me. So I can't really hear you guys. But yeah, that was I think that we're gonna wrap up the show. That we've covered everything, I think, unless you guys have something else you want to hit on.
I can't really think of anything else.
No, like we said in the beginning, it was great, man. All the actors, they did their roles. Everybody had great screen, time. It was a beautiful movie. I loved it. 5 stars. Thank you, guys.
I do like how Hugo Weaving has starred in 2 of the Wachowskis' most popular movies.
Well, I mean, 4, if you like. I mean, The Matrix, all 3 of them.
I'm talking about the good Matrix.
Oh, the good one.
The good one.
Yeah, I mean, they've had a couple of missteps, but I think for the most part, they've had a good career. And Hugo Weaving's been a part of most of it, so.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's sign out.
All right, yeah. So I'm gonna wrap it up on this. Thanks everybody for joining us for the first episode of Movie Noobs. Shut up. My sister's laughing at me. It was a lot of fun. Hunter, thanks for watching the movie so that we could talk about it.
I had fun, man.
Yeah, good stuff. And Haven, thanks for being my co-host yet again.
No doubt, brother. I'm glad to be on the show. It was a lot of fun, being with you guys, hanging out, talking about a really good movie. I had a blast. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. So that's Haven. That's Hunter. I'm Caleb. Subscribe and like to Film Nerd below, and take it easy. Bye.
Peace, guys.